And they just get out of the ground and then they come.
Yeah.
We are on the air.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's okay.
Recording
As
in
you
progress.
know, 2 days ago, we lifted our emergency disaster order here in the town of Riverhead. We are no longer in that status. We're moving forward. Everything's opening up. We have a live at 25 events planned. We have the drag racing. We have fireworks and a whole bunch of activities, and we're getting back to our new normal soon. This day was long coming. It's been a really dark 16 months for us here, trying to keep our operations going, our services that the taxpayers deserve, keeping our budget in line, which we just received the response from the state controller audit, and we were hailed as providing a great budget in line and addressing all the COVID impact. And we're going to keep moving forward, our town forward. Today is a Thursday, June 17, 2020, and we're going to have a brief town board meeting prior to the work session. But of course, before we begin, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Catherine, can you please take the lead?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Catherine. We have two brief announcements. We are continuing the extensive public participation process to develop our new town square in downtown Riverhead, together with Urban Design Associates. And we have released this week a second survey. It's online, and we hope that you will participate and help us create your new town square. Next, this Saturday, the Reflections Luminary and Light Art Show will once again be on display at Rangel Park. I encourage everyone to take the opportunity to walk through the innovative and interactive, unique artwork along the park, along our riverfront. And if you want further information, you can visit Reflections Riverhead, the word reflections, riverhead.com for a complete list of dates and musical guests who will be appearing throughout the summer. Okay, so I'm going to ask now to go into a special town board meeting for the purposes of amending Resolution 2021-431 and Resolution 2021-424, which we are adopting during today's town board meeting. Can I have a first and a second to go into a special town board meeting, please?
I'll make them. Second.
I just have a question, that you read two different numbers, and I have them as
They're
different.
issuing new numbers for them.
Yeah, they had to
Gotcha,
issue new
okay.
numbers this morning.
Okay. Disregard.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
Yes, please.
Okay. Resolution 436.
436, amends Resolution 2021.
If I could just interrupt the board, I think we need to open it up for public comments on the resolutions that you're going to
That's
take up today.
correct. Okay. So do we have, John, do we have anyone here?
I have Andrew McIntyre, but I don't know.
Okay, so we have one person.
Let's bring him
Do we have
forward.
anyone from the audience? No, we don't. So let's see, just try to bring up Andrew, if we can get a hold of him. Okay.
Mr. McIntyre, if you wanted to comment on either of the resolutions before the board today, we're happy to hear your comments. You'll have 5 minutes to make any comments or remarks. He may just be passively watching via Zoom today and not here to make
Yeah,
comments.
that's very common.
Okay.
All right, well, we're giving him the opportunity, and though his mic is, it looks like his mic is on.
It was muted.
Yeah,
Sometimes it takes a minute.
so, let's try him one more time. Oh, he has not engaged with the
He has not
chat?
engaged in the chat to
Okay.
let us know that he wants to speak.
And he can hear us, and he's not engaged in the chats, and we
Presumably he
gave
can
him
hear
the
us, yeah.
opportunity. Does anyone know who he is? We can reach out to him. Do you know who Andrew McIntyre is? No? All right, so Mr. McIntyre, we're gonna move forward with our meeting, and if you hear us, and I'm sure you do, you have a good day.
Okay, you ready?
Yes,
All
we're
right.
ready.
Resolution 436.
Amends Resolution 2021-431, secret determination regarding application for Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Funds, Round 19. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Dayrod,
Yes.
Kent.
Did we want to state why these were amended? I mean, I know, but did we want to state for the public?
We can, and
Might be, they might want to know.
Devin was charged with that. But you also have to do the one with the time, you have to speak on it, so.
So I can just address that briefly. So we have to do a separate secret resolution to support the application, the authorization to apply for the funding. So when we did the two resolutions, we prepared them in draft, and the draft of the secret resolution never got finalized. So we took last year's and never finalized it. So now it's corrected and updated, and I apologize for the inconvenience.
And there was a time frame.
That was on the second one. The second one with the Chapter 289. I had put it for an evening public hearing time instead of the 2 o'clock, which is the time that was set forth by the town board when it set the whole schedule for the year. So the July 20th meeting's actually in the afternoon. Just in my brain, I always thought second meeting in the month was in the evening, so failed to check. So,
And I vote yes.
Okay.
Okay. Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Resolution 437.
Amends Resolution 2021-424, authorize town clerk to publish and post a notice for public hearing for a local law to consider amendments to Chapter 289 entitled Vehicles, Traffic, and Parking Regulations of the Riverhead Town Code, Forge Road, a.k.a. Dam Road. So moved.
Seconded.
Vote, please.
Rothwell,
Yes.
Dayrod,
Yes.
Kent.
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Aguirre.
Yes.
Resolution adopted.
So I think Supervisor will open it up for public comment now on any other matter, right?
You have to open it up for public comment for the special, and then the work. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do any other matter. John, do we have anybody in the Zoom? No? Seeing nobody else in the audience that wants to
Anyone?
comment on any other matter? I think you're all set to probably go ahead and close the special.
Actually, I want to bring something up. I was waiting to see if we had anyone in the waiting room. I wanted to talk a minute about the other day when we had 555 here. It was stated that our outside attorney had vetted a letter from 555, a financial document. So we are elected by the town. We are, as a board, we are the client to our outside counsel. I was not privy to a discussion. I did not approve to have our outside attorney accept a letter on our behalf. I'm wondering who did.
I
I'm
don't
not sure
believe, you don't need
any
a board
authority for
approval?
each action, because he's been retained to handle the transaction, so I'm not sure why he would need specific authorization on that particular item. He's your counsel that you've appointed to handle that transaction.
But wouldn't it have been appropriate for us to have a discussion about that prior? I mean, I learned of it at the work session.
Yeah, I did also.
And I'm also thinking, well, with this, we have no idea what could be in this letter. There could be special conditions in this letter. There could be things in there that we absolutely need to know about.
You talking about the letter from the bank?
Yes,
the lender?
there could be some kind of special conditions in
But
there.
I
I mean,
think he
it
just
seems
clearly-
as though we should have at least had a discussion that we, as a board, we are the client, we're, approving that our outside attorney, who works for us, would accept this letter on our behalf.
I thought it was just validating the financial status of it, is all the letter pertains to.
Well, he's accepting the letter on our behalf, correct?
I'm sure he,
That's what we hired him to do.
yeah, I'm sure he
As
accepts a
sitting-
lot of
sitting-
cards.
sitting in-
Exactly.
Sitting in a little different seat than you, I hear what you're saying. I'm not, and I'm not going to say whether what he did was correct or incorrect, but what I will say is that as an attorney handling files, when I'm entrusted to handle a file, I don't pick up the phone every time I get a letter or send a letter. It's just not something I would do, because then I would spend an inordinate amount of time communicating with all my clients and not being able to get the work done that I need to do in order to handle those files. I'm not sure if that's what's going on here. I also know that because the letter required that it maintain some confidentiality, maybe his concern was that once it's divulged to the town board, there's a potential for it to be available through FOIL or otherwise. I mean, I think those are questions that maybe we need to, and I think you were actually going to set up an executive session discussion with him.
I intend to.
So this can be
And you
one of
can
the,
al-
this can be one of the points that you can raise with him at that time.
But Bob, whenever you consult with us on many things as our attorney,
I do, but I'm going to be very honest, I don't, every email I get, every phone call I get, I don't necessarily immediately pick up the phone and say, okay, town board members, I got a call about this, or I got a message about that. I would never get anything done if I did that every time I had
although
something
you have
on.
to admit, this is a pretty major item. This was a very big thing. I just like to be involved in everything. I would have liked to have been privy to some discussion, that our outside attorney would be accepting a letter on our behalf.
You also have the option of contacting the attorney yourself if you have any.
When I have reached out to our outside attorney, his response to me was that he would not speak to me individually, that he only likes to consult with all of us as a board. Last year, I reached out to him on
Okay.
something, and he said he would not speak to board members individually, is what I was told, and that he would only talk to us as a board.
Okay, so,
That's why I'm bringing this up.
All right, and I understand your point. What we can do is we're going to go into an executive session with him, and you can have your questions ready, and we'll deal with it as a board.
This isn't the first letter of credit that has been submitted to our attorney, though. I think this has happened several times through the years, right?
This is the first time that I recall, our outside attorney looking at a letter that we were not seeing, or we have no knowledge of what's within the letter.
Anything regarding the finances of 555 in the past have come to us as a board. This was done because I think there were, and this is my assumption, but this is what I feel happened, there was more information in that letter given to our attorney than we have gotten in previous occasions. And having said that, it was more confidential than we've gotten in other times. We've asked for more and we've gotten less. I think we got more this time, and because we got more, it's done confidentially through our attorney, who is saying, yes, I concur with what they're saying, without showing the actual particulars.
I think their attorney, Mr. Kent, also made an idea that providing that letter in an open forum allows other banks and so forth to seek, assets from 555, and as a competitor, it would not be fair to that bank to let them know what their investment rates are and so forth, and for competitive reasons, and I would understand that. So
Absolutely.
that bank should not have to open up their current dealings with them, but the idea of the letter was to state that there was more than adequate cash flow to make and finalize the purchase at the time.
Well, and with all due respect, I have no idea what's in the letter. I mean, you are saying, well, there was more in this letter than in previously, but we don't know that. We don't know that, and I'll just make the final point that this is major. I mean, Bob, you're saying you don't consult us on everything, but this is
I'm
a very
saying that
big deal.
if it's something obviously that involves a decision or filing of a suit, I'll reach out to you, and I know that the town clerk's office also sends around a blanket or a a broadcasted email anytime we search, so everybody's been aware of it. But every time I pick up the phone with somebody who's making a complaint about a neighbor, I don't call all of you and say, hey, by the way, so-and-so made a complaint about their neighbor.
And I thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I really.
But again, I'm going to
It'll
repeat what I
delay,
said.
but you do.
I'll repeat what I said earlier. Why don't we, make that a point of
We
emphasis
are.
in the executive discussion with
And we are.
council, and then you can ask him specifically why he didn't reach out to you.
But I also think it was appropriate to have this discussion in a public forum, just as we,
After you
you know,
consult with an attorney to ensure,
well, if I could just finish.
yeah,
We work for the people, and I think the people need to know that we are, doing our due diligence and, pushing hard and representing them. So I would have, it seems to me that we should have been consulted before our outside attorney accepted a letter on our behalf, especially something of this significance.
and from my experience, and a person who's very, very well versed in business, that is a very common action that's taken, where you have confidential material that you don't want to reveal to avoid competition, and it's a very common. We have to trust our attorney, and we are going into executive session to address that. And Catherine, I totally agree with you. We're going to do our due diligence. I, more than anyone, I understand real estate very well. I didn't create that contract. I inherited a contract, and we also have to maintain that we do we complete our responsibility and don't go outside where we can, where we're going to create litigation for us not acting, properly. So we'll have the executive session. I will set it up, and bring your questions. Anybody have questions? But I doubt you're going to see that letter. And I would love to see it myself. I think every board member here would love to see it. But we also have to maintain and stay within legal parameters.
I understand the reasons why not.
I understand the reasons too,
yeah.
but I don't know when our attorney found out about this.
These are the things we don't
If he found
know.
out just prior to the meeting, then I can understand why it went down that way. If he found out days before, then, yeah, I think a call should have been made just to alert us.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. I do think it was odd that we found it out that day. And, to your point, we are all working hard here. And, you're saying you have a business background, but I don't know that you've handled a $40 million deal with a company and a municipality representing close to 40,000 people, so.
Well, when I worked in counterterrorism, when they started the unit in NYPD, it was a $100 million budget that Congress gave us. And I walked in to our new offices, and it was a warehouse. We built it. We even brought helicopters with it. We had to do RFPs. We had to do personnel management. We had to hire people. We had to send people overseas. We had confidentiality agreements with all kind of personnel in our operations. And we created a global intelligence unit. So I think I have business. I'm also a real estate agent, and I have a PhD in business. And I do have a business. So I think that I understand it. But, Catherine, I understand your concern. We can address it appropriately under the proper circumstances in executive session. All right, we're going to move on forward. Devin?
So I think we need a motion
Yes, we're
to
gonna
close
it. Are we
the
all set?
special.
Everybody?
Yep, all set.
Okay, great. All right,
I'll make a motion to close the executive session?
yes, can I have a
Special
motion?
meeting?
The special meeting.
sorry.
Special meeting, yeah. So I'm going to ask someone to
Sorry.
make I'm going to ask for a first and a second to close the special meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
So we have to give the IT team a few minutes to set up for the work session, so we'll be back shortly.
Recording